Thank you for your interest in Unified Talent Management. This pre-recorded session, offered to you from ADP and Cornerstone OnDemand, is being shared with you so you may better understand how technology can help you recruit, hire, onboard, train, develop, promote, engage, and retain employees so you may achieve your business goals, whether they be leveraging your current talent for maximum results, reducing costs associated with employee turnover, or managing rapid growth. Your speaker is Cheryl Carey, Director of Application Operations and Advancement for Year Up, an ADP and Cornerstone OnDemand integrated client. Cheryl has 15 years experience in HR and HRIS and was tasked with designing and deploying a world-class HRIS solution to provide applicant tracking, performance management, employee engagement, learning, and succession. She chose Cornerstone OnDemand. And over the next 20 minutes, you'll come to understand why. Should you have any questions, please reach out to your ADP representative or email learn@csod.com. Following the webinar, you may receive a brief survey. We would love your feedback. Enjoy.
Great, thank you. So Ryan did a great job of giving you a snapshot of my background, so I won't spend a lot of time here. But with Europe, I did join them in March, and we began to look at our HR structure and our HRIS solution, and I was tasked with designing and deploying what they would like a world-class human capital system. And that includes all modules: application tracking, performance management, the lifecycle handling, learning, and succession. So we'll go to the next slide. A little bit about Europe, really quick and brief. It is an amazing company. It is a nonprofit organization who really has a very passionate and strong mission. Their mission attracted me to the organization. It makes me proud to be part of them day by day. They really do bridge the divide for our young adults today, and they bring forward a very strong skills program and internship program. And they have a very holistic approach about how they handle their students. They bring them through the path of learning about the business environment as well as intense studies, and bring them into a path of economic success. It's just an amazing organization. We'll move to the next slide. So what were we looking at? So though the company in size is relatively small from my previous experience, we were still facing the same types of challenges that many organizations face. We want to grow to meet and bridge that divide. We want to grow quickly. We expect to really double our size in the next 2 years. We're currently at 453 employees. And part of that really is tapping onto a very strong HR solution so that we can look at our people, invest in our staff, to make them successful. So it's from hiring all the way through to retiring. So if you look, we partnered with Cornerstone, starting with our application tracking, which we have deployed and it has been highly successful. Our performance management is actually live today and is being very well adopted. We're working and partnering with ADP on payroll benefits, and this was our 214 timeline. Now we're going into our 215 timeline, where we'll re-look again and go through phase approach for an ATS that's phase 2, and then we'll really go into that succession planning and revamp our Cornerstone learning to kind of interweave between all of these modules. So we face the challenge of how do we get our information for our own people, and how do we make it an opportunity for growth for our own people, and I was tasked with solving that. We'll move to the next page. So when I came in, we were facing a lot of challenge in having talent come through the door and moving through quickly. Talent moves very fast, and we have to act and move aggressively to retain it. So we did not have a job catalog, and we had to really spend some time to talk about what is it that we're looking for, what are our career stages, what are our descriptions, what are our bands. And that was really a big piece of work prior to going into the application tracking development because it taps on that and links directly to their requisitions. So we addressed that and we deployed that. You know, the system we had at the time, the hiring managers had very little access to the candidate pool. They wanted access not only from the system, but from smart devices. They wanted to be able to browse talent, to flag talent. So we tapped into Cornerstone solution to allow for that to happen. And it really does allow our managers to play a role, an active role in our hiring, as well as give transparency to talent, not only in their immediate organization and potential applicants, but across sites. We had interview notes that were decentralized, stored on network drives, not necessarily organized, really need to streamline those in both ways. We had to build out interview guides based back on our job catalog, by title, by career stage, so that our managers were interviewing in a common way for the same types of positions, and we needed a system that would house that information and make it readily available. Cornerstone had a great solution for that. You know, our job postings we were handling manually. It was costly to the organization. Weren't really tracking accurately the post up, post down. We partnered with Cornerstone and we did deploy the Broadbean solution, which is proving effective for us. It's allowing us to streamline our process. It's allowing us to select job boards by certain job types back to our catalog, back to our career stage, which makes everything kind of succinct. We had very limited reporting because a lot of our handling was manual. We had to take us from this kind of broken-in system to half in and half out of the system and bring us to that robust all-in-one solution. And lastly, you know, our offer letters and requisition approvals were taking time. They were done manually. Our offer letter templates weren't necessarily consistent. So that tapped back onto the job catalog, and we were able to streamline those approvals in the system, made it ease of access, again, using multiple devices for our leaders, and staying consistent in our branding and our messaging and our offer letters, and really tapping back on what stage the person was coming into the organization. So we'll move on to the next, and we'll talk about our performance management challenges. Our performance management, our performance review challenges, we were on a manual platform. We were not utilizing the system. And we had a lot of work to do from the perspective of what was a goal, how do we incorporate them into the system, what's the best system that would really help us support that smart definition of goals and give us ease of access to goals by function, how can we add unique functions linked back to our catalog at career stage. Cornerstone had a great solution for that. Certainly, the intake of creating a goal in Cornerstone is very simple, but the use of their libraries linked back to our different jobs was really a benefit to us. We did not have a self-review. We are a culture that really is about peer feedback, but we weren't the full 360 review because we did not incorporate a self-review. So we did bake that into our process. And Cornerstone, their system allows for that step. It allows for us to rate the specific competency or behavior areas, goal areas, strengths and growths melt in a professional development plan, which we had not had at the time. That professional development plan will also link back to our learning module and give the opportunity to tap on courses that might be linked in for both internal and external. We had inconsistent reporting. Certainly any company that's facing the challenge of moving from a platform that's somewhat manual into a streamlined system, the manual portion would be hard to gather full numbers. The streamlining into the system and having performance reviews and information live in the house in that system gives a robust reporting, not only to our managers, but to our leaders for calibration. It also allows for succession planning to go with ease because the information is housed in one solution. It is shared across platforms, so it allows for us to take, as a result of our calibration, take our top performers and move them onto our succession conversation. Again, we had spotty use of professional development tools. This really allows us to define what a professional development tool is and to bake it into the performance management steps and process. And one feature I truly love about Cornerstone is the professional development plan lives forever. It allows for touch points in your performance review, but it lives forever, which is really what it should do, because your development plan should link to your performance to allow for the strength and growth conversation, but certainly it's meant to help you throughout your career and also succession planning. We didn't have a lot of visibility into our talent. Being manual in nature, we're cross-site, we're across the country, we have sites everywhere. We really didn't know what talent lived where. Within a site, they may have been very well aware of their talent, but we need to grow, and we need to grow quickly, and the best place to grow is from within. So bringing everything to a unified HRIS platform, and such as Cornerstone, has really allowed us to expose our talent data and to raise not only applicant talent, but internal employee talent, and allow visibility across sites, across leadership tables. It allows the conversations of growth into a new site, how can we utilize our tools and data to help us identify employees to move. And lastly, the performance review was really limited to the reporting manager. And what that meant was that reporting manager kind of gathered information, the peer reviews and other features, and made the final rating determination. Using the Cornerstone solution, we really are tapping into the performance evaluation calibration meetings, really branching off into talking about our talent, focusing more on the strength and growth opportunities, and really enriching that process and allowing the decisions of performance to be done collectively as a group. So a lot of benefit here for us. We'll move forward to the next slide. So what's the right solution partner? Certainly one that takes all of these pieces into account. And sometimes in our solution we have two pieces, which is absolutely appropriate in an HRIS system. But we really needed to care for passing data with ease, really systematically, we should not be manually touching that information. It should flow freely. It should be historic, and all of those items were really important to us. So we built out our HRIS solution. Cornerstone really brought forward a unified solution. They have helped us, as you see, in our recruiting, our onboarding, our performance. They're tiered up for our succession, and they're tiered up for our learning. And they have a partnership with ADP, which was also crucial to us. And because we're using one solution, our data lives in one database. It allows ease of sharing information about an employee almost instant, and really allows us to look at that employee in different ways. If you're bringing them, you're onboarding them, and then you're looking at their performance, and then you're preparing them to succeed and grow in the organization, and providing them all the learning that they need to do so. So it's been a real wonderful solution for us. So I'll move to the next slide. What can I give you as advice? What was really good for us, and what was the impact to our business? Certainly all of this gave better insight to our talent, and we're seeing the benefits of that now because we are a growing organization opening up in new locations. It removed the duplicate nature of work and the manual nature of work, and it gave us some more robust numbers, more robust reporting, and it made it available to us very quickly. Lastly, the secrets to what is our success and what seems to be working in our methodology is really partnering with our IT, HR, shared services teams and models. Our IT partners, I do reside in IT. I have a very strong background in HRIS, but our IT partners, they understand our infrastructure best, our architecture best, so we're really tapping with them and driving this project very much like a systems project, and it's been very successful. Partnering with our subject matter experts, from human resources to finance to our field, how does this look and feel to you, our testing partners, and lastly, Cornerstone has really been a great partner for us. We really see them as an extension to our team, and I have to say that that's very sincere. We had many of long sessions where our Cornerstone partner was actually in the trenches with us in the moment, resolving items, and it has proven to be highly successful for us. We'll move to the next page. It was also extremely important to get stakeholdership. You can develop a great system, but until you actually give the company the opportunity to review it and have a stakeholder involvement in it, it won't fly. You have to really make sure you care for that. So we outlined what it would mean and the different tiers of stakeholder involvement based on the type of role you played within our project team. We really identified who our decision makers were and who would help us announce, as well as an active working group, which I call my champions, and functional SMEs, and lastly, myself, who's the program manager, who would delegate the work across the team. But stakeholdership was important. You need to champion the change. You need to hear what the business needs. So if we can move to the next slide, please. What's ahead for us? A lot. Cornerstone Performance, I'm very happy to say, is live and is deployed within the organization, and we're doing a lot of support sessions for our company today. It's going very successfully. We're going to revamp our learning modules and make them a bit more robust, and we're going to interwove them through all of the other modules and then move into succession. We'll spend a good amount of time in our succession building, tapping back on what we learned in performance and bringing forward data from performance. And lastly, as an organization, we are turning our heads to the impact grant that Cornerstone offers, and we're going to look to take our learning and raise it to our external partners, where we are a teaching opportunity and we offer a full solution. How can we make that available to others? And we'll partner with Cornerstone in that effort.
We're now moving into the Q&A session of our webinar. And the first question that was asked of Cheryl: when you were brought into Year Up, from a leadership perspective, what were the pain points in the organization that led you to Cornerstone's Unified Talent Management solution? In essence, what problems were you tasked with solving?
Great question. So the pain points from our HCC table were really that we didn't have appropriate data. We didn't have enough insight into our own staff, and we needed to gain that insight. Decisions couldn't be really made or driven in our growth and in our next steps. So the biggest pain was our reporting functionality, and also the second item that was very high was getting the talent through our process quickly so that we could get our sites open. How can we attract the best talent and process the best talent? So the two pieces that they really have a pulse for in our leaders were our human capital data, which went across all functions, and talking about getting talent through the door.
The next question that was asked of Cheryl: our CFO does not believe there is an ROI associated with employee engagement or HRIS technology. Will you discuss how you determined that you would have an ROI with Cornerstone OnDemand technology?
That's a great question. You have the ability to look at your time to hire. You have the ability to look at your retention compared to your talent and development and growth, your internal leader development. All of this data is beneficial, and to have that data in the system at your fingertips and be able to track it and metric it and goal it, it shows its worth. Being able to have a system that identifies maybe a weak spot and maybe in a location on a performance, in being able to tap into the learning module to make that performance improve and give that opportunity, keeping the morale of your organization solid and feeling that you have that pulse. I think that's irreplaceable. And the data from a full HRIS solution allows for that. So truly, it's about bringing your talent in quickly, retaining that talent, growing that talent, and you can put in your numbers and metrics and show the support of each of those modules and how it fills in the gaps to those unknowns today. Because the questions that are asked are, how do we grow our organization? How do we keep it healthy? How do we keep the talent we have? Those are our worries at a senior table.
The next question that Cheryl was asked is, can you describe your process for development plans?
Development plans, what we gather during our performance review process is we gather the next role that someone might want to go to, and we capture that role, and then link the activities that are inside our learning module or an external that's stored in the module to that activity and make it a measurable, achievable process. So we're really bringing someone professionally through that process. We're also taking back our feedback from our calibration meetings and strength and growth areas. That immediately goes back into the professional development plan. So we take that strength and growth area feedback and we melt it back into the next steps of activities to improve in those areas.
And the last question that was asked of Cheryl, can you share any best practices or possible pitfalls when evaluating unified talent management providers? There just seem to be so many.
You want to make sure when you're looking at a talent provider, you're looking at an application tracking system or a performance management system, you have to make sure they integrate. And then you have to make sure they integrate with your overall enterprise, with your IT team. You don't want to build a system in a silo. So when I was looking at possible solutions, I looked for the best fit to that big puzzle, to that full HRIS wheel. And then you can get kind of stuck in a space where you begin to cookie-cut products versus looking for a solution versus a product. And I would say keep your vision on that scope, because once you have one piece, the next comes naturally. So you want to make sure what you choose integrates. You want to make sure that it's really device-friendly, keeping up with the technology and support-friendly. But that would be the advice I would provide from a systems choice perspective.
And this concludes our Unified Talent Management webinar. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any feedback or questions, please email learn@csod.com. or you may reach out to your ADP representative. Also, if you receive a survey, we would love your feedback. Thank you and have a great day.